The year is 2015. The Toronto Blue Jays are a flashy home run hitting team with a lineup so dangerous that opposing pitchers were shaking in their boots just having to face the next batter. They went all in at the trade deadline, picking up the lefty David Price, the runner-up for the Cy Young Award, and all-star shortstop Troy Tulowitzki. With big names like Jose Bautista and Edwin Encarnacion as the heart of their order, they also have the league MVP in Josh Donaldson, hitting second, who hit 41 home runs and 123 RBIs. That trio of Donaldson, Bautista, and Encarnacion was electric. They produced 120 of the Blue Jays home runs that year and 348 of their RBIs. That's just the production of the 2, 3, 4 hitters. The rest of the team managed another staggering 504 RBIs and 112 home runs. The Texas Rangers, on the other hand, are led by the likes of Prince Fielder, Adrian Beltre, and Josh Hamilton. 3 big bats surrounded by players that complement them well. They are no strangers to the playoffs, but they've transformed themselves from the year prior, going from one of the worst teams in the league in 2014 and having a rough start to the 2015 campaign, going just 42-46 in the first half. But they were able to turn their year around, rallying behind their young core of players and trading for ace pitcher Cole Hamels and first baseman Mike Napoli at the deadline, where they were sitting 5.5 games back of the Angels, eventually winning the AL West division off of contributions from players like Shin-Soo Choo, Delino DeShields, and Elvis Andrus. There you have it. The regular season is over. The postseason is set to begin. The Texas Rangers will face the Toronto Blue Jays in Toronto for Game 1. The Texas Rangers come out to an early lead in Game 1 against David Price, and the Blue Jays just can't come back. And the Texas Rangers end up taking Game 1 5-3. Game 2 starts and Texas takes a quick 3-1 lead, but the Blue Jays are able to storm back and take a 4-3 lead going into the 8th inning. And the Blue Jays do not hold on. The Texas Rangers tie the game. We go to extras. The bench is clear, and the Texas Rangers take a 1-run lead in this game, winning the game and forcing the Blue Jays to go to Texas and try to win 2 games to force a Game 5 back home in Toronto. And of course, the Blue Jays do it. They go to Texas and get the job done. Troy Tulowitzki draws a walk, making it 2-0 in the bottom of the 5th. He then hits a 3-run bomb in the top of the 6th to make it 5-0. The Texas Rangers score 1 run, but Roberto Osuna shuts the door in the bottom of the 9th, and the Blue Jays move on to Game 4. Donaldson starts it off, second batter of the game, he goes deep. A few batters later, so does Chris Colabello, and it's now 3-0 Blue Jays. The Blue Jays get off to a great start in Game 4. An elimination game, they're trying their hardest to get back to Toronto. They have R.A. Dickey on the mound, he's throwing well. Kevin Pillar makes it 4-0 Blue Jays, and they are rolling. They decide to bring in David Price in relief. They have a 6-run lead, and David Price is their ace pitcher. They win the game 8-4, and the Blue Jays are going home to Toronto to face Texas in Game 5 of the ALDS. And say hello to Marcus Stroman. Here's Marcus in March after tearing his ACL. He required surgery on that ACL, as you can see in these pictures here. He decided that he wasn't going to listen to the doctors and to his team when they told him that he was going to miss the entire 2015 season. He said, "No thank you, I'm going to rehab this injury and I'm going to return for the playoffs." And that is exactly what he did. Now, Marcus has never been to the playoffs before, but that's not the case for his opponent, Cole Hamels. Cole Hamels is a World Series champion with the Phillies, and he's looking to get the Texas Rangers into the next round, the ALCS. But the Blue Jays and Marcus Stroman will not go easily. Marcus Stroman is poised to make the biggest start of his entire life, and he gets it started with a double off the wall by Delino DeShields. Not what he was hoping for. He needs to stay composed, not panic, however, and get the next 2 outs. Let's see how he does. He gets Shin-Soo Choo to ground out to second base. The second baseman makes the play to first base. However, Delino DeShields moves over to third base. That's what we call small ball. Now, Prince Fielder hits another ground ball. The Blue Jays try to get the out at home, but they are just not in time. The speed of DeShields was too fast, and Colabello could not get the ball to Russell Martin in time. 1-0 Texas. Marcus Stroman then gets the double play ball, but Adrian Beltre runs it out. He then gets a fly ball from Josh Hamilton, the next batter, and he escapes the inning with only 1 run of damage. The bottom of the first is going to get started with Ben Revere leading off against Cole Hamels. He's going to ground out to the first baseman, Mitch Moreland, and the second batter, Josh Donaldson, is going to come up to the plate. In Game 2, Josh Donaldson took Cole Hamels deep to center field in his very first at-bat of the game. Now, Donaldson's up for his first at-bat of this game, and let's see what Cole Hamels does.
Look, gave him a curveball right.
He strikes him out on a curveball down and in. Josh Donaldson could not get to it, and the inning ends. The next batter as Jose Bautista pops out to right field. Bottom of the first, over 1-0 Rangers. Top 2 is going to start with a walk to Josh Hamilton, but a great play by the pitcher Marcus Stroman on the bunt defense is going to keep the runner out of scoring position. Marcus Stroman is a brilliant defender. Now we have Rougned Odor getting a hit into right field, making the pressure on the Blue Jays mount even higher. Runners in scoring position. Marcus Stroman gets the strikeout, and there's 2 outs in the inning. Now, a very interesting decision from the Texas Rangers is about to happen. With 2 outs and 2 strikes, they attempt a double steal and get thrown out at third base. A costly mistake, because the Blue Jays are going to get the call, and the inning is over. No more damage. Ball 4 to Edwin Encarnacion is going to start the bottom of the second. Chris Colabello on the first pitch gets a single up the middle for his first hit of the night. Troy Tulowitzki is going to do something really interesting here. He's struggling in the playoffs. He is a power hitter, but Adrian Beltre is a little hurt, so he's going to try to square down a bunt. That's a pretty good strategic move for the Blue Jays. They have nobody out, 2 runners on, and you have a bit of a labored Beltre trying to make a play at third. Tulo does not get this call, and he's rung up. Strike 3. Let's take a look. It might be a little bit low. He might have gotten away with one here. If you're Cole Hamels, I think you're feeling a little bit lucky on that one. Yes, right below the knees, just a little bit. Cole Hamels then gets Russell Martin to fly out to right field, and the inning is almost over. Cole Hamels just needs 1 more out to get out of this without giving up the lead. And he strikes out Kevin Pillar to end the inning. The top of the third gets underway with a nice play by Josh Donaldson as he jumps up high and gets Delino DeShields out at first. The next batter is one Shin-Soo Choo. He's going to hit a solo home run over the head of Jose Bautista. That makes this game a 2-0 Rangers lead. Marcus Stroman settles in and gets Prince Fielder to ground out to second base for out number 2. Adrian Beltre then gets a hit over the head of Ryan Goins and gets on base himself. But the inning ends here as Mitch Moreland pops out to the left fielder, Ben Revere. Inning over, 2-0 Texas.
Goins leads off for the Blue Jays. He is 0 for 13 in this series.
A jarring stat for Ryan Goins, who's 0 for 13 in this series so far. He is trying his best to leave his mark on this series, and he takes strike 3 on the outside corner. He doesn't agree with the call.
Boy, he is super sharp. Four-seam fastball, the velocity at 95, holding the plane on the corner. And you couldn't have done it better with a paintbrush.
The next batter, Ben Revere, is going to hit a chopper up the middle. Cole Hamels gets a piece, and Revere sprints down the line for an infield single. Josh Donaldson then moves him over on a deep ground ball to shortstop. No chance at second base here. And Jose Bautista lines one to the wall for an RBI double. The Blue Jays' first run of the game. They have some life in them. What a slide by Jose.
Here's the look everybody's waiting for. Does he come off the bag? That's the big question. This will give us a good look right here. Great slide.
That is ultimately all that will come of the inning, though, as Chris Colabello grounds out to the shortstop to end the third. But the Blue Jays have some life. It is 2-1.
Pilar coming in, left center. He dives, makes the catch.
I say, he doesn't get that ball, nobody gets to it. We've been talking all series about the jumps he gets on the ball, but it's also the explosion and the athleticism. This guy can go get him with the best of them.
Kevin Pillar makes an amazing diving catch that only he can make. He is a spectacular fielder. He has to sprint full speed, leaving his mark on the field, reminiscent of this catch that he made back in April against the Tampa Bay Rays, where he climbed the wall and stole a home run away from the batter, leaving his mark on the wall. The inning comes to an end as Marcus Stroman gets Rougned Odor to ground out to Ryan Goins for the third out. And the next inning gets started as Cole Hamels almost takes it too easy throwing to first base, but he gets Troy Tulowitzki. He then gets Russell Martin to fly out, and he finally gets Kevin Pillar to strike out to end the fourth. On this play here, you see that the batter grounds in between shortstop and third base. Now, in this case, the shortstop, Troy Tulowitzki, is the one that grabs the ball, but I think if Josh Donaldson, the third baseman, cuts in front of him, I think he has the better angle to make this play. He wouldn't have to barehand it. His glove is in a position where he can make that glove catch and throw. But ultimately, the play doesn't form. Now, Delino DeShields is going to show you how not to bunt. First, he's going to try to bunt with his hand. Not how you do it. Second, he's going to try to bunt with his face. And he ends up on the floor. Now, when you do try to bunt, you do want to square around, but you don't want to take your bottom hand off the bat like he does, because then the bat's going to come and hit you in the face just like that. So, he ends up grounding into a fielder's choice. He's safe at first. Shin-Soo Choo is going to strike out on a 2-2 fastball down and in from Marcus Stroman. Not the only left-handed batter to strike out this inning, as Marcus Stroman gets Prince Fielder to finish the top of the fifth in a 2-1 ball game, trying to keep his team in this game. Cole Hamels is going to keep the party going and strike out Ryan Goins for the second time tonight. But remember, 4-time Gold Glove winner Adrian Beltre is over there at third base. The Blue Jays thought they were going to be able to bunt against him earlier in the game, but he makes this play look easy to nab the fastest runner on their roster in Ben Revere. Look at that. He knew the bunt was coming. He ran in, charged the ball barehanded, and got him by a step. And that swing from Josh Donaldson sends the game to the top of the sixth inning. Marcus Stroman keeps dealing and strikes out Adrian Beltre, his fourth K of the night. Mitch Moreland grounds out to second base, and after a double from Josh Hamilton, Ryan Goins saves the Blue Jays' night by keeping the ball in the infield and getting the out at first. He is 0 for 15 in this series, but he is providing valuable defense for the Blue Jays, keeping this game very tight. Marcus appreciates it. Through a pop-up from Jose Bautista for the first out, we are reminded of the third inning home run from Shin-Soo Choo, the first home run for the Rangers since Game 1 of this series. But the Blue Jays had 6 home runs up to this point, and boom, there goes number 7. Edwin Encarnacion ties the game with a solo shot, and you can hear all of Canada singing Encarnacion, 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 Encarnacion. The pressure is on the Texas Rangers. The Blue Jays have tied the game. The stadium has erupted. Edwin is on fire, but Cole Hamels is still on the mound. He strikes out the next 2 batters to finish the inning. And that brings us to one of the greatest innings in baseball history. Take a note that it's just the 7th inning. This game has been going on for just about 2.5 hours, and understand that there's still almost 2 hours before the final out is to be recorded. The 7th inning in this game has gone down in legend as one of the craziest single innings in baseball history. With emotions running high and the season on the line for both of these teams, the top of the 7th begins. The Blue Jays bring in Aaron Sanchez, a relief pitcher that was a starter for them at the beginning of the year. Odor starts it off with a base hit single up the middle. He advances to second on a sacrifice bunt as the Rangers get the small ball working once again. A nice play by Josh Donaldson gets the second out, but Odor does advance to third base on the play. Then, something happens that is so improbable that I don't think not one single person in the near 50,000 person stadium had seen this before, but it happens on a play that occurs well over 200 times every single game.
Russell Martin's thinking the same thing. Look at this. Ball's dead.
Dead ball. The ball actually hit Chu's bat as Martin went to throw it back to the pitcher.
Why is it dead? Why is it dead?
Let's watch that again. Chu is batting in a 1-2 count, and he's going to take the ball up and in. Then he's going to raise his shoulders to adjust his sleeve, which is a completely normal routine thing for a batter to do to get comfortable. But as he's doing this, the Blue Jays catcher, Russell Martin, moves his arm back to throw the ball back to the pitcher, something that he's probably done hundreds of thousands, if not over 1,000,000 times in his life. The ball then hits the knob of the bat as Chu is standing in the batter's box, and the ball gets away from Russell Martin and Aaron Sanchez. Rougned Odor, being the heads-up batter that he is, decided to run, even though the umpire is going to wave his hands up in the air, saying, no, 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 that's a dead ball. So, this is where the confusion starts. The Rangers manager Jeff Bannister is going to meet with home plate umpire to argue that the play should be live and that the run should score. Jeff is actually correct. Chu was within his rights to stand his ground in the batter's box and extend his arm and bat outwards. Since he didn't leave the batter's box, the ball hitting him and rolling away is the same as if it had slipped out of Russell's hand and he had just thrown it away. The umpires have to meet together, but they don't really understand the rule themselves, so they have to get on the headsets and talk to New York. The atmosphere in the stadium is starting to diminish, and the Blue Jays' hopes are starting to dwindle. The home plate umpire talks with John Gibbons and explains to them why the run is going to count. I don't think that John Gibbons likes what he's hearing, and he is going to inform the umpire that he's playing this game under protest as he thinks the rule is being misinterpreted here. Frustration from the fans is boiling over, and the Blue Jays are pleading with the stands to stop throwing things on the field so that they can continue playing the game. But after a small delay, the game continues. Aaron Sanchez strikes out Shin-Soo Choo on the next pitch, and we head to the bottom of the 7th. Russell Martin starts us off in the bottom of the 7th, hoping that he is not the reason the Blue Jays lose this game. He's going to hit the ball on the ground to Elvis Andrus at short, but the shortstop cannot make the play. That's an error on him. He is normally a very good fielder, but something about this moment, maybe it's getting to the Texas Rangers a little bit, because we see the next batter, Kevin Pillar. He hits the ball on the ground to Mitch Moreland, but again, Elvis Andrus cannot corral the ball. That is the second straight error for the Texas infielders, and now the pressure is on. The Blue Jays need this run to come in to tie the game and keep their hopes alive. They've got Ryan Goins at the plate. He's 0 for 2 today, and they've chosen to let him bunt to try and move these runners over. He fails the first time, but that gives the Blue Jays the opportunity to get Dalton Pompey, the Mississauga native, the former Mississauga North Tiger, on the field. The bunt goes down. Adrian Beltre plays it perfectly, but oh my goodness, for the third straight play, the Texas infield commits an error, and the Blue Jays load the bases with nobody out. Look at that, a perfectly executed bunt defense, but it just pops out of the glove of the shortstop, and he cannot believe it. Ben Revere then grounds the ball to the first baseman, and Dalton Pompey slides in aggressively, taking out the catcher, stopping the play in its tracks. Jeff Bannister, the manager for Texas, wants it reviewed as he thinks the slide is not clean, but the umpires rule that it was, and the game continues. Now, 1 out, bases loaded. The MVP, Josh Donaldson, comes in to face relief pitcher Sam Dyson. Josh Donaldson ties the game at 3, and that sets the stage for Jose Bautista. Jose has a home run in Game 1 of the series, a hit already in every other game, and that year he had 40 home runs, 114 RBIs, made his 6th All-Star game, and finished 8th in MVP voting, hitting directly behind the one who did win MVP. When Bautista sees this 1-1 pitch 40 minutes after the first pitch of the 7th inning began, he makes history. With the toss of his bat, he ushers in a new era of baseball. As a Canadian, you remember where you were when this happened. You remember who you were with, and you remember the chaos that ensued after the Rangers flirted with fire for too long and got burnt. The tensions began to flare as the Rangers take exception to the bat flip, and of course, since the bench is clear, the home fans of Toronto begin bombarding the field with more debris, causing an even further delay of this 7th inning that has already gone on for 50 plus minutes. The home run by Jose Bautista echoes throughout history forever. One thing I like, look at that spit take right there. That's one of my favorite reactions to this home run that I don't think gets recognized quite as much. The inning finally comes to an end on a pop-up by Troy Tulowitzki, but not before the bench is clear one more time, because Tulowitzki takes exception to this little butt tap here. But we enter the 8th inning with a 3-run lead for the Blue Jays, and they need 6 outs to advance to the American League Championship Series. The inning starts with Aaron Sanchez back on the mound. Prince Fielder is going to get a hit to left field to get us started, and Adrian Beltre comes up next. Adrian Beltre is going to hit the ball up the middle, but another fantastic sliding play from Ryan Goins keeps it in the infield. They get the out at 2, but Troy Tulowitzki is unable to get the double play. There's another look at the sliding play by Ryan Goins. He is spectacular at ranging to either side and sliding to protect the infield just like that. He is put on a defensive display in this series that makes up for his offensive woes. Aaron Sanchez then walks Mitch Moreland, and the Blue Jays decide to go with their 20-year-old rookie closer, Roberto Osuna. He's been spectacular this year, and the Blue Jays are hoping he can get a 5-out save. He gets off to a great start by striking out Josh Hamilton, and he strikes out Andrus, the next batter. He is a great closer for the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays are putting all their hopes in this young phenom. They cannot get on base in the bottom half, however, and Osuna is back out on the mound. He just needs 3 more outs. He starts with Rougned Odor, who hits the ball hard to Ryan Goins, but he's there for the catch. Next is Mike Napoli, who strikes out on a slider away. And now Osuna has Venable in a 3-2 count. All the Blue Jays looking on, and he delivers the pitch.
Championship Series. To send the Blue Jays to their first ALCS since 1993. A wild game. It took 3 hours, 37 minutes, including a 43-minute inning and then a 53-minute 7th inning that will go down in baseball history.
I've seen postseason games with beanball wars. Seen postseason games with a fight in the bullpen in Fenway Park. I've seen a brawl between the Yankees and the Red Sox, but I've never seen the kind of raw emotion of the game like we saw today.